Spyro and the Shattered Realms. Chapter 1. The Calm Before the Storm. It was a bright and peaceful morning in the Dragon Realms. The skies were clear, and the lush forests sparkled with dew as Spyro the Dragon soared through the air, enjoying the simple joys of life. His trusty companion, Sparks the Dragonfly, darted around, flitting through the air with boundless energy. Spyro had long put an end to the evil sorcerer, Nasty Nork, and other would-be villains, bringing peace to his world. Life had settled into a calm routine, with Spyro spending his days helping out the various dragon clans, keeping an eye on the younger dragons, and enjoying the occasional adventure. It was a good life. But as Spyro landed in the familiar grassy fields of the Dragon Realms, a sudden tremor shook the earth beneath him. Sparks buzzed nervously around his head. "What was that?" Spyro muttered. Before he could make sense of the disturbance, a strange, cosmic glow filled the sky. A massive, swirling rift appeared high above, as though the very fabric of reality itself had been torn open. From the rift, dark, ominous tendrils of energy poured into the land, warping everything they touched. Trees twisted into strange, monstrous shapes, and the sky darkened, as though it were in mourning. "This can't be good," Spyro said, narrowing his eyes. A crackling voice echoed from the rift, a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere.
"The time has come, little dragon. The realms will be united under one rule."
The ground beneath Spyro cracked open, and he leaped backward to avoid being swallowed by the massive chasm that formed. It seemed as though the world itself was being ripped apart. Spyro looked up to see an ancient and towering figure descend from the rift. It was a dragon, but not like any he had ever seen before. His scales shimmered with dark energy, and his eyes glowed with a fierce, unnatural light. This dragon was no ordinary creature. He was a being of immense power, consumed by the very force that was tearing apart the realms.
"I am Arkanos,"
the dragon declared, his voice booming,
"and I will bring order to the chaos of the realms."
The ground shook again, and the very air itself seemed to warp. Spyro barely had time to react as Arkanos raised a massive claw, sending a blast of dark energy that sent Spyro tumbling through the air. Chapter 2. The Ancient Prophecy. Spyro awoke to find himself in a strange place, an ancient temple surrounded by mist. He could hear the distant sound of rushing water and the faint hum of magic in the air. As he shook off the disorientation, he noticed a familiar face standing nearby. "Ignitus!" Spyro exclaimed, rushing over to the elderly fire guardian. Ignitus, one of the most revered dragons in the Dragon Realms, nodded gravely.
"Spyro, I'm glad you're awake. There's little time. The balance between the realms has been shattered."
Spyro blinked, still unsure of what was happening. "What do you mean? What's going on?" Ignitus stepped forward, his wise eyes filled with concern.
"Arkanos has disrupted the harmony of the realms. Long ago he was a guardian, one of the oldest and most powerful dragons, tasked with maintaining balance. But his ambition led him astray. He sought to control the forces of reality itself. In doing so, he unlocked the Void Flare, an ancient destructive force that tears apart the very fabric of the realms."
Spyro listened intently, trying to process everything. "So Arkanos is responsible for this? But why now?" Ignitus nodded.
"Arkanos believes that merging the realms will give him ultimate control. He seeks to unite all worlds under his reign, and in doing so he will destroy everything that makes each world unique. The Void Flare's power is growing, and if we don't act soon, the realms will be lost forever."
"So what do we do?" Spyro asked, determination rising within him.
You must travel to the different realms and close the rifts Arcanos has created, Ignitus said. But you won't be alone. I will send you allies who can help you along the way. You'll need them.
Before Spyro could respond, a new figure stepped forward. Vera, a sleek and elegant water dragon with shimmering blue scales. "I've been sent to assist you," she said, her voice calm but strong. "The water realm is in chaos, and we need to restore balance before the void flare consumes everything." Spyro nodded. "I'm ready. Let's do this." Chapter 3. Into the Shattered Realms. Spyro and Vera made their way to the Water Realm, one of the first realms affected by the Void Flare's corruption. The once tranquil lakes and rivers had turned dark and turbulent, with wild whirlpools and storms ravaging the land. The skies above were perpetually stormy, and strange creatures roamed the land, their minds twisted by the Void Flare's influence. As they arrived in the heart of the Water Realm, Spyro and Vera encountered Corin, a fox-like creature from a realm that had become fused with advanced technology. His mechanical limbs and gadgets allowed him to navigate the terrain with ease, even in the most dangerous parts of the realm. "I've been tracking the rifts here," Corin said, his eyes flashing with excitement. "But we'll need to work together if we want to close them." Spyro, Vera, and Corin fought through the corrupted creatures, each using their unique abilities to overcome obstacles. Vera's water magic allowed her to calm the ravaging storms, while Corin's gadgets disabled traps and solved puzzles. Spyro, as always, used his fire breath to clear a path through the dangerous terrain. At the heart of the Water Realm, they faced a massive rift, swirling with void flare energy. As Spyro approached, the ground trembled, and a monstrous creature, a corrupted guardian of the realm, rose from the water, its form shifting and changing with the void flare's influence. "It's not just the world that's changing," Vera said, her voice tinged with sadness. "The guardians themselves are being corrupted." Spyro steeled himself for the battle, using his elemental powers, which he had started to unlock during his journey. Spyro was able to weaken the creature. Vera and Corin assisted, their powers working in harmony to bring down the corrupted guardian. With the guardian defeated, Spyro stood before the rift, his mind focused. He unleashed a powerful blast of elemental energy, merging the forces of fire, water, and air. The rift trembled and finally closed, the void flare energy dissipating. "One down, many more to go," Spyro muttered, catching his breath. Chapter 4. The Sky Realm and the Final Confrontation. As Spyro and his allies continued their journey through the Shattered Realms, they encountered new friends and dangers. In the Sky Realm, they met Garnor, a mighty dragon who could manipulate the wind and clouds. Together, they battled through floating islands and dangerous skies to close another rift. As Spyro grew stronger and more in tune with the elemental powers, he began to understand the true nature of the Void Flare. It was not just a destructive force, it was also a force of imbalance, feeding on chaos and greed. Arcanos had become consumed by this power, and it was up to Spyro to stop him. Finally, after battling through corrupted creatures, closing rifts, and restoring balance to several realms, Spyro and his allies reached the heart of the chaos, the Void Flare's source. There, they confronted Arcanos in a final showdown. Arcanos, now a towering figure of dark energy, laughed maniacally. "You think you can stop me? The realms will be mine." Spyro stood firm. "Not if I have anything to say about it." The battle was fierce, with Arcanos unleashing the full force of the Void Flare against Spyro and his allies, but Spyro, fueled by his newfound elemental powers and the strength of his friends, pressed on. In the end, it was Spyro's pure heart and determination that defeated Arcanos. Using the combined forces of fire, water, air, and earth, Spyro sealed the Void Flare, restoring balance to the realms. Chapter 5. A New Dawn. With the Void Flare defeated and the realms restored, Spyro stood at the edge of the Dragon Realms, gazing out at the horizon. The rifts had closed, and the balance between the worlds was now secure. The sky was clear once more, and the lands were peaceful. "Thank you, Spyro," Vera said, her eyes grateful. "The realms owe you everything." Corin smiled. "You've done it, buddy. You've saved us all." Spyro nodded, feeling the weight of the journey lifting from his shoulders. "We did it together. I couldn't have done it without you guys." Ignitus appeared beside them, his wise eyes proud.
"You've proven that even the smallest of us can make a difference. The realms are safe again, thanks to you, Spyro."
Spyro smiled. "I guess the adventure never really ends." As he gazed out over the peaceful land, Spyro knew that while the balance had been restored, the bonds between the realms would never be broken. And whatever challenges lay ahead, he would face them with the strength of his friends by his side. The adventure was far from over. The end. Guys, you have been listening to Tales from the Consoleverse, written by AI Chat GPT and read by yours truly, Off-Rail Gamer. This is a new series. I will be back tomorrow with a Sonic the Hedgehog adventure, so I hope to see you then. Bye-bye.